Hi guys, it's Chris at Cork and Crown, back in my cider shed with another cider to try, but it's not a cider. It's not a cider, it's a perry. And something else, which, is it a perry? Who knows? Let's try it and find out. So what we got? Well, first the perry we've had before, because I'm using it for demonstrative purposes if you like. And it's this fella from Ross-on-Wye, Hendrio Hufcap, single varietal, press 2019, bottle 2020. Recorded by Charles Martel as one of the very best vintage pears. It makes a superb single variety with light and easy drinking qualities and pleasant pear notes that give it a smooth flavour. So what we're going to pair it against? Well, what we're going to pair it against is that. Copperberg. Pear cider, not perry, if there's a difference. An enormous bee has just flown into my shed, if you can hear it. If it tries to sting me, I'll react, otherwise it can do its own thing. So Copperberg, I mean, this is one of the biggest selling drinks in the country, as far as I can tell. But what is it? What does it say on the front? It says a premium cider made with pear, 4.5%. Anything on the back? Let's see. Sweden's original cider brand, made in our family-owned brewery in Kopparberg town, in the heart of the country. Our pear cider is, sorry, not great font in terms of the size. Our pear cider is fermented using naturally formed soft water, sourced close to our town, and the finest quality pears, light in colour and refreshing fruit to taste. We hope you enjoy this very special cider as much as we do. 500ml, 4.5%. No ingredients to speak of on here. It says contains sulfites to preserve freshness. That's it. But I do happen to know from a good source that it also contains fruit juice, sugar, acidifier, flavouring, potassium sorbate, as well as the naturally occurring soft water. Why would you ferment with naturally occurring soft water? What would you be doing? So, something weird's happening, isn't it? So one has to assume they're making from concentrate. I mean, they couldn't make the volumes that they make all year round if they weren't making from concentrates. One assumes they're using the naturally occurring soft water. It's funny that you would actually put on the label as a selling point the fact that you water it down. Naturally occurring soft water to dilute the concentrate so it becomes fermentable. And then, what is it, 4.5%? Maybe diluting that down to 4.5% using a naturally occurring soft water. You know, whatever. There's plenty of ingredients in there. But the naturally occurring soft water thing is the thing that freaks me out the most. Let's see if there's any ingredients on this, shall we? Let's have a look. May contain a trace of sulfite. All of cider and perry is produced from whole juice fermented with natural yeasts. So there's nothing in there. There's nothing in there. There's some sulfites, I think, a little bit, not much, and that is it. So, massive difference. So let's open them and try them. Before I do that, 2 comments to read out. Both from the Turner's tasting I did, which is the Kentish producer. First one, from Thomas Gallagher. East Coast ciders have their place, and I think comparing them to mass-produced stuff is unfair, considering they use natural ingredients, still worlds apart in quality. Agreed, Thomas. Absolutely agreed. If I intimated that, I apologise. That is not what I meant to intimate at all. And in fact, I like the Turners. And in fact, I contacted Turners. And in fact, I'm going to sell Turners. I'm also going to try some Nightingale stuff and perhaps get some stuff from them as well. If there's any other Kentish producers people can recommend, let me know. Happy to try them, because it's a blind spot I've got. I got into cider through French cider and West Country cider. Those are the things that really tickled my fancy, if you like, got my palate going. So I had a bit of a blind spot for the sort of East County cider. I know, sorry, let me read this next thing out as well, from Jacob Bussingly. What about, instead of East Coast, West Coast, tannic-led, acid-driven? That way it captures producers on the eastern, northern, southern side that may use cider apples and producers in the southwest that experiment with culinary and dessert. Well, actually, some of these guys on their websites actually call it East Country style. So what are you going to do? But I agree. Acid-driven. And one more thing on that point. Sorry, this is a bit all over the place, this particular tasting, if you like. So, on that point, actually, so how the heck do you classify these things? How do you do it? You know, it's really, really hard to figure it out. So, basically, I read up on it. I started looking at this, and I read an excellent article by Adam Wells, who is Probably my favourite cider writer. I think he is, in fact. There's some great ones out there. I mean, Pete Brown's brilliant, James Finch is great, but Adam Wells, I don't know. I just really like his stuff. He tried to write a taxonomy of cider to deal with this. It's quite a long article, but I'll just read out what his taxonomy would look like. So the first section is called Apples and Region, which would be the first bit, variety or varieties if it's blended, and where the apples came from. Okay, so for this it would be Hendry Hofcap, and it would be Herefordshire. Specifically Broom Farm, possibly. I think it's their own pears. It might be wrong. Second bit is called categories. Is it still? Is it sparkling? Is it sweet/dessert? Is it fortified? Is it cider containing adjuncts? And that includes where people put hops in cider, or put them in like barrels that have had Pinot Noir in them, or whiskey or something like that. All these different things. Oak as well. I mean, just the barrel itself, the oak, that's an adjunct as well, I guess you could call it. So those are the factors. Okay. Next section. The subcategories of that section is, in terms of sparkling, is it forced carbonated, traditional method, Charmat method, bottle conditioned, pet nat, keeved? If it's sweet dessert, is it added sucralose? Is it arrested fermentation, pasteurisation, cold racked, keeved, ice cider? If it's fortified, is it pommel or other fortified apple juice or fortified cider? Addendums and adjuncts, including but not limited to wood, mentioned that, yeasts, what sort of yeasts, cultured or wild, vintage, age. So when was it made? You know, if it's from a vintage, what was the vintage like? Other fruits, hops and spices in terms of things you might have had. Anyway, so this is a taxonomy he's come up with, okay? It's quite complicated when you say East Coast and West Coast. People kind of get it. This is more accurate. It is more accurate, and maybe we'll try and use this taxonomy going forward. But I realise that was long-winded. You probably fast-forward it, but that's the whole point. It's complicated. For me, East Country, East Counties, Eastern Counties, East Country, West Country, it gives you a general idea what you're talking about. One tends to be cider apples and one tends to be culinary dessert apples. And it does give you a particular flavour profile. But within that, there's a whole, there's a polyphony of things going on. Anyway, let's open this in Copperberg, shall we? Jesus Christ, the things I do for you. Right, Copperberg, come on. So the taxonomy of this, where were the pears grown? Don't know, Sweden probably. I don't know if they all were though. They might be importing, pear concentrate to make the volumes. That may be happening. Yeast, gotta guess it's cultured. It's got sugar, acidified, potassium sorbate, fruit. It's got also. I mean, this is like, what the hell is this? I'm not sure. Let's pour it out and have a look. So, what's the colour like? Let's look at the colour. Wow, that is, without a doubt, the palest thing I have ever poured in the shed. That is quite something. There is no colour in that whatsoever. It's sparkling, obviously. Forced carbonated, so it's sparkling. Forced carbonated, definitely. Let's have a smell. I mean, it smells like, it's really, I mean, you can't smell sweet. I always say that, but this smells like it's sweet. I don't think it smells like pear, though. Does it smell like pear? Maybe a little bit of pear? It smells like, maybe it's got citrus as well, maybe strawberry. Yeah. It's a little bit of pear, but crikey. Nothing, very, very unnatural aromatic, I would say. Let's try it. Pour too much out when I drink all this. I'm like, God. Okay. That is sweet. That is like icing sugar sweet. It's got a little bit of acidity, but not much. It doesn't taste naturally sweet. It does taste like icing sugar. That's what the sweetness is giving me. I mean, there's a hint of pear in there, hint of acidity, lots of sweetness on my palate. I have a sweet tooth. I'm not going to be able to drink much of this. No chance. It is like, there's stuff on the outside of marshmallows. Is that actually icing sugar? Like marshmallow. Maybe that's what it is. Yeah. Tannin, zip, nada. Wow. I mean, it's alcohol pop. It's an alcohol pop by another name. Sorry, it's wicked, whatever the bloody stuff's called. It's an alcohol pop. It's people who get drunk, who don't like the taste of alcohol, who have like a childlike palate, I suppose. I mean, I like sugar, but this is weird. It does feel like a sweet you get in the sweet shop. That's what it sort of tastes like. All right. Do we think this will be any better? Let's find out. The thing is, if you like drinking that stuff, drink it. That's fine. Drink what you like. It doesn't matter to me. What matters to me is that things like pear cider, and actually pear cider and perry can be used interchangeably. There is no definitive, actual, as I believe, definitive categorization of perry. This is made with perry pears, though. I mean, really, this is dessert culinary and concentrates and God knows what else. This is actually perry pear. It's one sort of perry pear from one place. So I think this certainly qualifies as a perry more than that does. And this all goes back to that thing about 35% juice is all you need to make cider, to call it cider in England, in the UK rather, which is fucking ridiculous. If that was wine, somebody bought a wine and it was 35% grape juice, it'd be all hell to pay. They'd think the guy who made it was a joker or a charlatan or both, you know. But for cider, it seems to be acceptable. There's no distinction between something which is 100% fruit, maybe with wild yeast, small scale, you know, to something that's mass produced with all sorts of crap thrown in that's only got 35% juice in it. You know, it's a joke, is what it is. Right. So this is unfiltered, hazy. Certainly has more colour. I mean, perries are pale. This isn't as dark as like a cider, but goodness me, it's got a lot more colour than that first one did, doesn't it? Look at that hazy, sort of light gold. Smell it. It's actually quite delicate on the nose. Very delicate on the nose. Nothing like as much going on as the first one. But don't get me wrong, there was a lot going on in the first one, but I didn't really like it. It was like sticking my nose in a bag of marshmallows, which was alright if I was sticking my nose in a bag of marshmallows, but I wasn't. I was sticking it in a pear cider. I mean, if you like this, you'd probably hate this. And if you like this, you'll probably hate this. I mean, that's all you need to say about it. This is so much. I mean, this has got some sorbitol in. It's not absolutely bone dry, but after that, it feels bone dry, and it's got tannins, so you get the kind of like skin kind of character. It's not leathery, but it's got like a skin element to it. I mean, that tastes like a fine wine compared to this. It really does. I mean, it just does. I mean, this I could drink shed loads of, although I probably shouldn't because it's 6%. This, I mean, I've had, look how much is left in there, and this might be a drain pour for me. It might be. I thought I'd be able to drink it. I thought I'll be able to drink it, it's fine, but I'm not sure I will. You know. So there you go. Bit all over the place this episode. Haven't filmed anything for a few days. But yeah. But let's think about this taxonomy. If anyone's got anything to contribute with regards to that, fine. But if you go to Cider Review that's just launched with Adam Wells, James Finch new website. If you go to that website, they have there's an article there about taxonomy. It's the one I read. Amongst others, it was also on the Burham Collective, and the Burham Collective has some brilliant stuff on as well if you want to read about that. But go and have a look at it, read it, see what you think. I think it's probably accurate, and I apologise if I upset people by, you know, saying East Coast, West Coast, or whatever. However, sorry, there's tweets and all sorts going off. Anyway, do that. Get back to me. All right, guys. Thank you for joining me in my shed. Sorry that was a bit crazy, but there you go. It is what it is. Come join me again, please. But until then, cheers.